Hi guys, my name is David and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be a judge. I am judging the artwork of two of my very good friends in this round 2 of the Badass Art Battle. That's what they've called it anyway. This is a friendly competition between two of my good friends. These are two people that I consider to be very good friends of mine. And also, they are both artists. That's where this whole thing came in. And they both met through me. I both introduced their channels. And they thought that because they're both artists, they thought that it would be kind of interesting to have kind of a friendly competition. And these two channels are called BADisRAD2 and the Art of AWR, aka Adam Rodriguez. BADisRAD2 is very, very quirky. She's very out there. She's extremely creative in her videos and in her artwork. She mostly does artwork on items of clothing, like jackets and t-shirts. She hasn't had any training whatsoever. She doesn't do this for a living. She does this because it's an interest, it's a hobby of hers. But she hasn't really studied art. She just finds it incredibly fun to do. But Adam, he is a actor. He's probably studied art and he's definitely a artist in his profession, or has been, or is, or whatever. So you got the two polar opposites. You got one person that does this as a hobby and the other person that does this for a living. So I'll have both these channels linked down below as well. Both Adam and BADisRAD are both very, very quirky and out there, and their personalities are really, really big and huge, and they're really, really quirky and out there, but I love them. But I'll have their channels linked down below, so please check them out. So when they came to round 2, I chose the subject matter, which was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, as I knew that BADisRAD comes from Texas, and I didn't really know that Adam came from Texas as well. But because they come from that state, I became interested in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre because BADisRAD has done a couple of themed videos based on that franchise. And I thought, okay, it'd be kind of interesting to do a Texas Chainsaw Massacre theme, and that's what I introduced. So I am going to be judging both the artwork by these two booktubers, which I'll have up on the screen. All I ask is that you take this with a grain of salt. This is supposed to be very fun and enjoyable, but I am going to be fair. I'm going to be very, very fair, and ultimately there's going to be one winner and there's going to be one loser. But this is supposed to be very fun and enjoyable video. But I am going to be reviewing these two artworks like the same thing that I do with my books. And also I'll have the original links to these videos that they created, these artwork, down below in the comments, so please check them out. And also subscribe to their channels, that's probably a given. So let's start off with BADisRAD2. This is her art. She went for a out-of-the-box approach on this. I thought that she was going to draw this on a t-shirt, but she drew it on a piece of ordinary paper. And instead of using paint, she used charcoal, or pencil and charcoal, and charcoal rather, if I can talk. And she went for a portrait. Same thing as she did with Frankenstein. She went for a portrait of Leatherface. And I love it how she kept it all simplistic, and all the lines are very sharp, and there's enough shading in there. There isn't too much in there. It doesn't go overboard with the shading. Yes, there could be a bit more shading here and there to add a bit more detail, but you probably have to draw a line about when enough detail is enough. And I like how all the lines in Leatherface's hair and his face and the picture in general are all very sharp, and even in his face, because his face is made of leather, it's probably dried and he's probably had to cut it and stitch it together. There is enough detail in it. Yes, she could have added a bit more stitches into it and more shading and lines to make it look more dried out and homemade, but again, going back to the shading thing, there would probably be a point where you have to draw a line saying, right, this is enough detail, you don't want to go overboard with it. And I love it how she decided to blacken out the eyes, the eye sockets in the mask as well. Because, yeah, I mean, how are you going to draw Leatherface's eyes? Are you going to make them angry? Are you going to make them sad and, contemplating? But when they are just black holes, it's like a reflection of his soul, and it makes him more sad and mysterious, but also dangerous as well. It's kind of like Michael Myers, where his eyes are described as being black, and also the eyes of Jaws, the shark, where his eyes are described as being dead, like black, dead eyes, cold, soulless eyes. And it's very reminiscent on Leatherface. I'm not very much into the lore. I've watched some of the movies, but I know that Leatherface's past, he was probably picked on and ostracized as a child because of his appearance. And it's kind of like Jason Voorhees, pretty much the same thing, but he was probably shrunken into himself and being an introvert. And I think that resulted in him wanting to pretend to be someone else, and this is why he cuts the faces off of people. It's kind of like Halloween for him. He can cut off someone's face, wear it, and pretend to be that person, pretend to be perfect, pretend to be handsome, pretend to be somebody that he isn't for a short amount of time. And I just love Bad's artwork in this piece as well. It's simplistic, yes, it is black and white, it doesn't really need to be colour, and it would be something which I would be proud to hang up on my wall, and I think it's one of the best artwork pieces that she has done. Now let's go over to Adam's artwork now. Adam went for a kind of a watercolour. He usually uses a variety of things and techniques. He sometimes uses pens and crayons as well as watercolors to add more detail. His artwork is more comic book style-ish, but he kind of went for an out-of-the-box approach. He used an inspiration from the end of the first original movie, and because we have to state that now, because there is a remake that's by the same name. So when you say, oh, I love the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you've got to specify, oh, do you mean the original or do you mean the remake? I really hate that when that happens in horror movies or in movies in general. You've got to specify what one you mean. But anyway, this is the end of the original movie. I was going to say spoiler, but the movie's not old, but it's an oldish movie. But this is when the final girl escapes from Leatherface and his family, and Leatherface is running towards her, but she escapes, and he's so frustrated and angry, he gets his chainsaw, just whacks it around, just like has like a temper tantrum, just swings it around, and there's a twirl in there somewhere. And Adam perceived this as more of a dance, like a interpretive dance. So this is where he got this inspiration from, as he states in his video. I must admit, I'm not a fan of the pose. I do like the concept of this, but the pose looks more like a Spanish dance. And also the waistline of Leatherface in this picture is much slimmer than I think that he was in the movie and should be. He's more, not really overweight or fat. He's more of a, really not really built guy, but, somebody's probably at too many Big Macs. So his waistline should be a bit more wider and chunkier, and his stature should be more, beefier and intimidating. But this one looks more of a slim dancer than anything else. And also the way that Adam is postured, Leatherface, he kind of seems to be like tilting over, so it looks like he's about to fall over. But I would have loved it if he went for this, but if he went for him like standing really, really strong and powerful, and then maybe just like waving his chainsaw around in the air. But I do like the colours in this. The watercolours, how they blend together, are really good and detailed. This is what Adam really excels in, is his use of watercolours and how they blend together. Because it's a scene where the sun's going down, you got all the real yellows and oranges and reds and browns in there of the desert and the sun setting. You have the sun in the background, and also the colours that he's used for Leatherface himself are really good with his suit as well. He just seems to be more slimmer, and also the fact that he's not wearing his overall, his bloodstained overall. I think that he would have benefited from it if he added that item of clothing onto Leatherface. I like this picture for the colours and the use of the colour blending, but the posture and the way that Leatherface looks in this and how slim he looks, I wasn't really a massive fan on. But I do really enjoy this picture, and it's much better than I can ever do, as well as Bad's picture as well. But who won? Who won out of these two fantastic booktubers, BADisRAD or Adam Rodriguez? So who I personally feel who has won round 2 of the Badass Art Battle is BADisRAD2. Obviously, this is my own personal opinion. Please comment down below which one of these fantastic pieces of art you think that is, I won't say better, but what one do you prefer? And congratulations, BADisRAD, for winning round 2 of the Badass Art Battle. So you're both 1-1 now. So hopefully you have enjoyed this video. I've tried to make it really light-hearted, but very serious at the same time. And as I said, I wanted to be fair because I like both these artworks for totally different reasons, but I also am really good friends with both these booktubers. So please comment down below, what did you think about this video? What did you think about these two fantastic pieces of art and this art battle in general? So yeah, with all that out of the way, I'll see you on my next one.